Alright guys, welcome to Achieve Project. This is one of the best seminars out there, probably very, very unique. I'm gonna tell you basically what it's about. When I was at your age, maybe I was 18 years old, I came to Yeshiva Ohr Hamizrach for an interview. And the rabbi sat me down, Rabbi Braun, and he asked me, one of the questions he asked me really got to me. He says, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Has anybody ever asked this question to you? It really got me. It's like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? It's like, I never thought about this question. I was 18 years old, you know. Okay, I thought I gave him an answer, whatever, I gave him an answer. But it's a very, very important question. Where do I see myself 5 years from now? Where do I see myself 10 years from now? This is a very, very crucial question. This course is based on Napoleon Hill's law, the law of success, this book. He wrote about 100 years ago. But the stuff that he writes over here, a lot of it, we can find in the Torah, which was written 3,000 years ago. What did he do? He dedicated his life. Why are we using his book? Who cares what he wrote, right? But this guy, he dedicated his life to study how people can achieve things in life, how they become successful. And he made a study of 16,000 people over 20 years. And he found something very, very interesting. That 95% of these people failed. How do you define failed? That they're frustrated with their income. They're not happy with their life. They failed. So he analyzed why did they fail. Says number one reason, they didn't have goals. Can you believe this? If they had goals, their life could be completely different. Number two reason, they didn't save money. They didn't have any savings. And number three reason, he said they were not happy with their job. So today, not today, but during this course, we're gonna at least try to conquer two of these items, is how to set goals and how to save up money and invest it. Okay, this is very, very important. I wish whatever I'm teaching you right now, I wish somebody taught me when I was 18, 17 years old, 19 years old, because I know my life would be completely different now. So because nobody taught me this, I learned the hard way, and now I'm giving back to the community. And we have here Adi, my partner in this program, who learned, I don't know where he learned these things, but somehow he picked it up early enough in his life, and he's actually will be a good example for somebody who knows these things, how to get it in. So next session, he's going to teach you about his career and how in his 20s, he already has an apartment and he has a stable job, and he's able to go on vacation a few times a year, and he'll tell you his story next week, so make sure you come. But I'm going to tell you this theory part, and Baruch Hashem, now I'm putting it into practice over the last few years, but this stuff is crucial, it's very, very important. And it will change your life. I guarantee you, if you go through this course, it will change your life for better. You will never regret attending it, and it will increase your income, it will increase the way you live, your efficiency, but it's not just about money. How much story you're going to learn, how healthy you're going to be, all of these things we can program ourselves and set for ourselves goals and go towards them and work on it. So this is crucial, this is very, very important. Probably this is one of the most important life skills to how to set up goals, and we're going to learn it today. At least we're going to start learning it today. Why we need this course? Why do you need me teaching this course? You could go on YouTube, and you don't even need to buy this book anymore, you know? So much information out there. You could go on YouTube and listen audio book for free. You don't even need to know how to read. You know, you could just listen. If you know how to listen, you could just plug it in while you're walking to school. While instead of watching wasting our times, we could just watch this stuff. And there are many other amazing speakers who talk about self-development, how to become more efficient, how to earn money, how to become successful. I'll give you some examples. Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, one of my favorites, Napoleon Hill, obviously I just told you about. Also Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and how to stop worrying. A lot of authors out there. What's the problem? The problem is that most of them are Christian. So here and there they sprinkle their theology in the course. So most of the like maybe 95% of what they teach, it has nothing to do with religion. It's really the stuff that he studied, right? It's like I don't want to call it science, but it's like a worldly wisdom that he interviewed people, he did studies, you know, he came to certain conclusions. But maybe 5% here and there they sprinkle like religion. They push their thing. So there's no reason why we need to take the religion. They don't need to tell us about God. You know, we had God before Christianity was born. We had God before Islam was born. They don't need to teach us about God. Frankly, they don't even need to teach us about success. If you take the statistics over the world history, Jewish people did very well overall, on a theme compared to other nations. So, but there are certain things. Sometimes you sort of have to go outside, see, discover certain things, and then go back and say, what does the Torah say about this? So this is exactly why we need this course. This course, I'm not teaching you anything from myself. I read it in this book, and then I asked myself, but what does the Torah say about this? How does it fit in our frame of mind? And I want to teach you something today. Mishnah. It's in Pirkei Avot 5:22. It says, Ben Bagbag Omer, Hafoch ba vehafoch ba dechol haba. Turn the pages of the Torah. Why? Because everything is there. Geography is there, history is there, science is there, biology is there, math is there. We had a big rabbi. His name was Vilna Gaon. He never studied in university, not a day of his life. Probably never went to school, I'm pretty sure. And when he was in the bathroom, he was genius. When he was in the bathroom, to keep his mind busy and not to think about Torah, he started to write math. And he wrote a math book. Can you believe this? And how did he know all this math? He knew it from the Torah. And but we're not on his level, because everything is Torah. What's the difference between the science and the Torah? Let's say this is knowledge, right? Let's take this as knowledge. The science, it's come from here, from the study, from the earth, from our trial and error. Torah comes from here, from God. This is the difference in the knowledge. The quality of information is very, very different. So eventually, even if it comes to the same conclusion, we don't need to wait thousands of years until the science get to the same conclusion. And if at some point science or study or secular knowledge tells us against the Torah, it's just a matter of time. Because the Torah proved itself, its credibility over and over again. Why? Because it comes from God. It doesn't. It comes from Shamayim. It comes from there. So therefore, whatever the information we have to look above. We have to look at the source of all the information. What the Napoleon Hill has this term, infinite intelligence. He has this term. What is infinite intelligence? If you don't believe in God, what does it mean? Like, where do we get our thoughts from? Where do we get ideas from? This is he coined this term, infinite intelligence. But we know this term that we pray every day. This is the most important blessing. After the first three blessings, we say that we're children of Abraham, that Hashem resurrects the dead, and He's the Holy One. This is the first three is standard. On holidays, on weekdays, Yom Kippur, Shabbat, it's always the standard, the first three. But what comes after it is the request. The first request, you know what we ask for? Who knows what we ask for? What is the first request in our daily Shmona Esrei and our daily Amidah? You guys pray sometimes, right? What do we ask for?
We pray for the patriarchs, Abraham, son of
After Abraham, this is the standard. This is like the introduction. The first three, we don't ask for much. We say God. We praise God. We say God,
bless Israel, resurrect the dead.
Resurrect the dead. It's also we don't ask for anything. And we say He's the Holy One. Blessed are you, Ayel Kadosh, you Holy God. Okay, these are the first three. We don't ask for anything. We're just telling God how great He is. So what is the first thing we ask for?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness? No, it's not the first one. It's one of the first ones, but it's not the first one. What is the very first thing in the Siddur? When you open Amidah, you praised God already that He is the God of Abraham. You praised Him that He resurrects the dead, and you praised Him that He's a holy God. Now you finish with the praise part, right? Because this is the introduction. The first three blessings, you don't ask for much, and now the next few you're asking for things. What is the first thing we always ask for? This is number one on our list. What is it? What is it that we ask for?
Peace.
No, this is actually the last one, but a very important one.
I'm guessing knowledge.
Knowledge. Very Adi. Kol hakavod. You see, I can tell Adi prays every day. Ada chonel adam da'at. Hashem, you give to human being da'at. You give him knowledge. V'chonel meitcha chokhmah bina v'da'at. Please, God, please give us chokhmah bina da'at. Give us knowledge, understanding. Give us insight. This is the number one thing we asked for. It says, God, please make us smart, because the last thing we want to be is stupid. We don't want to be stupid, right? We want to be smart, okay? So we ask God, please make us smart, because He is the source of all the knowledge, okay? So we don't need Napoleon Hill to tell us about it. We know this already for 3,000 years, that God is infinite intelligence. He's the source of all the knowledge, and He gives us knowledge. He tells us how to live, He tells us how to make money, and He tells us how to be healthy. Everything is there. Sometimes we just don't know how to extract this information. Therefore, what do? We go to people who dedicated their life, who might be not Jewish. Napoleon Hill, he dedicated his life to understand success. What does make somebody broke, and what makes somebody successful? And we analyze his ideas, and then we go back to Torah and we try to understand where is it in the Torah. Does the Torah contradict this? Maybe because some stuff he wrote here, it's weird. Some stuff that he wrote here, we don't accept it, especially the stuff about religion. But we can take some of the ideas and see what does the Torah talk about it, and does it talk about it at all. So that's why we need this course. This course is very, very unique. I'm going to give you this information and extract it and go back to Torah, see what the sources are, give you the sources. The sources, they don't teach in yeshiva. Even in the religious institutions, they don't teach it. Why? I don't know why. They don't concentrate on this. Because there's so much out there. There's the laws of Shabbat, there's the laws of Kashrut, there's Chumash, there's so much out there, they don't concentrate on this. And I wish somebody taught me this in yeshiva. Even in yeshiva, they didn't teach me this. I came across this over years, accidentally, here and there, these pearls. I collected them and I'm giving them to you. And, guys, the summers go by anyways. But some of you who commit to this course, you decide to come every week over the next 12 weeks, you will gain so much, it will change your life. I'm telling you, it will change your life forever. So, this is the stuff I'm giving you. Tell me, how do you think having goals in your life will change your life? So who cares if I have goals or I don't have goals? How is having goals will change your life? Just think about it. Okay, so what does it matter? You want to do good. Like I just have this fuzzy desire. Right? What does it matter if I have specific goals I'm striving for? Who cares? What's your name? Avram, what do you think? Is that
keeps you more organized?
Okay, that's very good. It keeps you more organized. Any other ideas?
Gives you direction.
Gives you direction. Excellent. Any other ideas?
Makes you determined.
Huh? Makes you determined. Very good, guys. All you said, it's absolutely 100% true. You become more organized. You have a sense of direction, and it gives you determination. It's perfect. All your answers are perfect. I'll give you a very simple example. Somebody decides, maybe he's in 10th grade. He decides, I'm going to become a doctor. You know what that means? That means after he finished high school, he has to get in a college, which has a pre-med major. He has to, not every college has this, he has to pick a right college, apply there, right? He has to take, what are they called, SATs, right? He has to do well on it. After 4 years in college, he has to do MCAT, decide to find the right med school, get into the med school, then he has to do another, I think, 4 years in med school. It doesn't make him doctor yet. And then he becomes a resident. He does, I think, 3 or 4 years as a resident. And only then he's a doctor. And even then, if he wants to specialize, he has to do another 3 years maybe in particular specialty. This is crazy, right? But it's a long-term goal. Somebody has a desire, he says, I want to be a doctor. He has to plan the next 12, 15 years ahead of time. He has to map out all these goals. You understand? And therefore, the way he's going to live today, based on his vision tomorrow, is going to be very, very different. Why? Because somebody calls him, it's like, hey, Jack, I have a birthday party tonight. He's like, what are you up to? He's like, I'm studying for MCAT. He's like, screw MCAT. Let's go party tonight. He's like, forget about MCAT. He's like, no, man, I want to be a doctor. He's like, okay, maybe next time. He said, yeah, maybe next time, maybe. And then there's another important event. He's like, hey, we're having this event. It's like, would you want to come? He's like, no, I'm studying. It's like, okay, so why are you studying so hard? Because I want to be a doctor. He has a goal in mind. And therefore, because he has a goal in mind, his life today is going to be very, very different because he wants to be somewhere tomorrow. But if he doesn't have a goal tonight at his hands, he's going to fit in somebody else's goals. I'm going to give you an example. Somebody is he wants to travel, right? He comes to, let's say, to Moscow. He says, I've never been to Moscow. I'm just going to go there. He doesn't have any specific goals, what he wants to visit. He doesn't, maybe Kremlin, maybe, I don't know, Red Square, maybe this, that. He doesn't know. So he gets out of airport. He's very excited. He's very happy. He gets into a cab, and the cab driver asks him what?
Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go? Right? Very simple. He said, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just excited to be in Moscow. I heard so much about it. Like, all my Russian friends told me about it. I never been outside of the United States. I want to be in Moscow. It's like, just, I don't know. Where do you think I should go? He says, let me tell you something, my friend. How much money do you have? He's like, I don't know. I have $500. He says, okay. I don't know what your goal is, but my goal is to make money. Okay? And as long as you have money, I'll take you wherever you want. And if you don't know where to go, I'll plan out where you will go. I'll tell you what the things that I know. Maybe they were on your list. Maybe since you don't have a list, you don't care anyways. I'll take you wherever as long as you have money, right? So this is what happens when we don't have goals. We fit in somebody else's goals. This is just plain if our desires and our dreams are not strong enough, we're gonna fit in somebody else's dreams. Why? Because we're like parv, we're not meat, we're not milk, we're like in the middle. We're sort of like whatever the direction the river takes me, this is where I'm gonna go. You understand how it works? So having goals, it gives you a direction, it makes you more organized, and it gives you determination. So this is one of the most important skills in life. Okay, so right now I did enough talking. We're gonna do a small exercise, guys. For the next 5-10 minutes, Adi, would you please pass this around? Just give me one for the next 5 minutes. Ruvin, we have pens? Where he left? Pens. Yeah. While he's passing those around.
Pass them back.
Okay, I got some pencils here. There's another pen here. You see, this was on our list, but we didn't buy it. Anybody?
Set your goals straight.
Anybody else? Anybody still needs a writing utensil?
Me.
Huh?
Me.
Okay, let's yeah, we have another marker here. I'll give you a marker. Okay, guys, you see the first column, it says goals.
Yep.
Start writing goals, like just brainstorm. Just write whatever you want. Like visit Italy, double my income, learn the entire Chumash.
Down there, it looks like you have colored pencils and crayons, and I feel like it would be better than a marker.
Okay, yeah, here. Better than markers, we have here. See, Hashem is good to us.
Oh, pencils, perfect.
Very good. Okay, yeah. Guys,
One more of
yeah. Okay, just write whatever. If you need another paper, I'll give you another paper, okay? Write whatever you have.
Like, what does it mean by time?
Forget about the second column. Just focus on the first column first, okay? I'll tell you, we'll get there. Just write anything. It doesn't matter how long it will take. It doesn't matter what it is, big, small, like, I don't know, to go on a jet ski, to do skydiving, I don't know, to get a new Prada shoes, I don't know, to get a new phone, whatever goals you might come to your mind, just brainstorm. This is the perfect time. Write anything. Maybe to get something maybe to buy your parents a house in the Hamptons, or maybe buy yourself a house in the Hamptons. Maybe buy a boat. Don't limit yourself. Just write whatever comes to your mind. Write all the goals, any desires you want. This is like your wish list. Imagine there are no limitations. You can write anything, and kids are very, very good with this. Kids are like, it's like, yeah, man, just give me a piece of paper. All right, a tooth fairy. She's bringing me stuff. I said, make a list for a tooth fairy. Oh man, can you stop writing? No, it's like I have this list that's never ending. I want to go to Disney. I want to watch this cartoon, and I wanted this dress and this and that. So let's pretend we're kids. Let's write anything we want. Let's put it on this list. Maybe you want to get a motorcycle license. Maybe you want to learn how to do ballet or breakdance or lesginka. Whatever is on your mind. Maybe you wanna cover the whole Talmud. That's a worthy goal. Why not? Maybe you want to get a certain exam under your belt. Maybe you want to pass CPA or get an MCATs, whatever it is. Just write your goals. Write whatever comes to your mind. Hey, welcome. Maybe you want to get into college. Maybe you don't want to get into college. Maybe you want to save up 50K this year. That's where they were go. Maybe if you want to save up $500, that's also nice. Whatever it is, just don't limit yourself, right? These goals, okay? You're gonna take another minute or so, and we're gonna move on to the next step. Okay, next step, you see that you have a second column. It says time. Because you have to write, either it will take 1 year, whatever goals will take 1 year, just put number 1. Whatever goals will take you between 3 and, between 1 and 5 years, you can put 5 there. Okay, and whatever goals will take you between 1 and 10 years, just put 10. 10 or more, okay? So just go through your list and see how long it will take. Maybe 1 year, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years.
So minimum is 1 year, right?
What?
Minimum is 1 year?
1 year or less. It's like up to, it could take you a
So
week.
just put 1 for 1 year.
Yeah. It's if 1 year or less, you just put 1. Huh?
Is it 10 years, 15 years?
10 years or more, yes. If it's more than 10 years, just put 10. Okay. The next part, we're not gonna write now, but this is your homework, okay? The next part is why. Why is this goal important to you? And having a why will determine the outcome of your goal. Why? Because if you care about your goal, like that, like we have to analyze, like, why is this goal important to me? Is it just like a 5 minutes enjoyment? It's nice, but is it like, is something gonna change my life over the course of time? That's maybe it's more important to me. Let's say somebody has a goal to earn $100,000 that year. And you ask him, why you want to make this money? He's like, I don't know, it's nice. Maybe I can go on this Alaska vacation that I dreamt about. Maybe I can put down payment on an apartment. It's like he doesn't know why. He's like, $100,000. It's a nice number. 1 second. Yes. Yeah, of course. And the other guy is like, why do you want to earn $100,000 this year? He's like, I'll tell you why. Because I can't wait to get out of this small apartment. I want to finally buy a house. I need $30,000 for down payment. I have 4 kids. I want to finally pay their tuition without going through humiliation, asking for scholarship and for asking for this and that. Says it's important for me that they go to private school, and I want to come to the principal and says, here, take this money, and I pay another $500 to the scholarship fund. Okay, I'll help somebody else cover his tuition. This is important to me. And you know what else? I want to bring my parents, I want to send my parents on vacation because so much they did to me. I feel this debt of gratitude burning inside my heart. So you have these 2 people, they have the same goal, but the motivation is completely different. This guy is a single guy, doesn't have any particular reasons why he wants to make so much money. And this guy is so much under pressure of financial pressure, and he already has certain desires why he feels like he wants to help his parents, he wants to pay for his kids, he wants to get out of his small apartment. So their motivation is very, very different. So when things become difficult by this guy, the first guy, he's like, okay, I don't know, I have a goal sort of, it's very specific, because goals must be specific. This is one of the features of the goals, because if it's not, the more specific it is, the more likely will be achieved. And the other guy, he also has a very specific goal, but he has much more motivation. So the why, you should ask yourself why this goal is important. Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper to understand why. And then when you have the why, you get a how. The how is the easiest part. Okay, sometimes you don't know. You set a high goal for yourself, you don't know how you're gonna get there. So what do you take? You take this is another exercise, okay? This you can do at home. You put your goal. This is your goal, right? Let's say your goal is to earn, let's say something realistic, $70,000 in 1 year. You want to have this money, right? And then you ask yourself, how can I earn this money? It's like double what I'm making right now. Let's say. And you say, okay, this I can do one thing, I can do two things, and you start brainstorming. You start brainstorming until like you run out of ideas, and you're gonna have 20 or 30 ideas, which maybe you say, I'm gonna open an online business, I'm gonna work in the restaurant, I'm gonna make this amount, whatever it is. And you said, this is how much I'm gonna make from this job, this is how much I'm gonna make from that job. Maybe I can invest, maybe I can start a partnership. Maybe number 21 is gonna be the final, when you run out of ideas and then you push more and you try to brainstorm more. Maybe item after 20 items, number 21 is gonna unlock the doors for you. You understand? So this again, I'm just giving you the tools because we're pressed for time. We're not gonna do all these exercises now, but take these tools home, and between now and next week, work on your goals and maybe add a few more items. If you want, I'll give you more sheets. You can, this very simple template. Yes?
I'm going to say, usually when you do something like this, first of all, it helps to even like write funny things like gamble. Like, of course, you're not going to just luckily win, but try to humor yourself. But when you do reach a thing you want to do, it's gonna be your next goal. And then, I don't know how to explain it. Let's say it's 70,000 and one of the options is start a side business, but then there has to be something before that. What is the side business? And the side business might have its own 20 options, and then you choose one of those 20, and that one option has its own 20 options, and that could also be your list of goals. To reach 70,000, you might have to go through 10 goals just to get there. Just like to get to med school, you listed, 10 things prior.
Very good, very good. But these exercises will get you start thinking, and the more you work on it, guys, setting goals it's time consuming. I'm not gonna lie to you. Before, usually at the end of the year, I sit down, I have a little diary where I write all my goals, and then I analyze how I did last year, I compare it to what I actually did, I accomplish these goals or not, and then I set another set of goals for the next year. And it's time consuming and it takes energy, and you have to dedicate time, and you have to dedicate at least 3-4 hours to plan out the whole year, to set the goals and to think about it. But because of this 3-4 hours, you'll become 100 times more efficient. These tools are unbelievable, will change your life forever. You understand? You have a sense of directions, you become more organized, and you know where you're going. It's not like somebody calls you, hey, what are you up to? You say, I know what I'm up to. Do you know what are you up to? Or you're just trying to fill out the empty pockets of time. And then it's good once you have your goals, once you finalize, then you decide what's important to you. Have them somewhere where you can see them. Instead, have them on your wall, in your bedroom, before you wake up, after you wake up. It's not just you set them up once a year and that's it, you forget about them. And then a year later, I was like, I forgot even I had this on my list. Mm-hmm. No, it's something we have to look at every day, understand what I want, really. Once you ask yourself, what do I want, you write it down, and then you have this picture in front of you, literally. At your workplace, at your bedroom, at home, at your bathroom, wherever it is. You know what? I took my goals, I put them on my home screen. I have the list of goals here. Every time, how many times we look at the phone? Probably 40 times a day, at least. I have all these goals planned out. My spiritual goals, my career goals, the goals I have with my children, and the goals that I have, personal goals, my hobbies. I have them all here. And every time I want to open my phone, I see my goals. And you know what? It reminds me, it's like, why are you going on your phone even? If you want to check Facebook, does it fit into one of these goals? If yes, then yeah, go ahead. I have goals for Beit Juhuro, it's like I have 4 or 5 goals that I want to do for this, and sometimes a lot of times I would go on social networks to achieve my goals. No, I'm not just going to scroll down to waste my time. Understand? And once we have the goals, the picture in front of us, and we look at it all the time, and the next session, or maybe the session after, we're gonna discover about how to build self-confidence and how to convince yourself that you can achieve your goals. Okay, one of the things, I'll just give you a heads up, so we have to tell ourselves, I can achieve my goals. Okay, let's say it together. I can, guys, achieve my goals.
My goals.
Let's say it again. I can achieve my goals.
My goals.
This is very good. And this is, you have to, you know what, sometimes we wait for somebody to come inspire us. It's like, hey, what if they don't show up? Like, what are we gonna do? It's like, hey, who's gonna come cheer me up? Nobody showed up. Like, you know what, now who's gonna, we have to inspire ourselves, we have to cheer up ourselves, and we have to push ourselves. And one of the things we push ourselves and say, we tell ourselves, I can achieve my goals. Yes, this is the goal I have. I can achieve it this year. I can achieve it in the next 5 years. These are my goals. These are my visions. Okay. Now, as I told you before, what does the rabbi tell us about the wisdom of non-Jewish people? There's a midrash in Eicha. It says like this: if somebody comes to tell you, Yesh chokhmah b'goyim, the non-Jewish people have wisdom. Amen. Believe them, because non-Jewish people have wisdom, because they dedicate their lives to research, they dedicate their life to certain subjects, and they study it inside out. They have wisdom. We cannot just disregard it and say, okay, they're stupid, goyim. It's not like this. Chokhmah b'goyim ta'amen. If people, non-Jewish people who really did their homework and they did their studies and they dedicated their life and many years, we take this wisdom and we use it. But if the goyim tell them Torah b'goyim, ain't amin. But if somebody tells you that the goyim have a religion and they can tell us about God, don't believe them. We don't need to go about religion, but we're gonna take the wisdom, we're gonna apply it. Yes.
What if, like, doesn't the Torah say that not supposed to do whatever a goy does?
Yes. Okay. So it's very good. That applies to the way goyim dress, the kind of music they listen, the things that has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with wisdom. You know, there's no reason why we should watch movies. There's no reason.
For example, like,
it's a waste of time.
So, for example, these smart people, like you're talking about, they listen to Beethoven, this, that.
They listen to what?
Like Beethoven, like classical music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, if they listen to it, we can listen to it too.
Okay, classical music is not. I'm happy you brought up a subject of music. It's actually one of the things he discusses also. Music is very, very important, but it cannot be dirty music. You know, because music gets into our soul, to the essence of our soul. If the music doesn't have words and it's not Jewish music, we can listen, no problem. If it's the kind of music that inspires us, it's good. It's perfectly fine. If it's non-Jewish music that like he's like, hit me baby one more, I was like, what the heck, like dude. And you see, whatever we listen to, it gets right into our soul, it gets right into our brains, and instead of thinking success, you're thinking it was like boots to the fur, man, I'm in the club, and like, what does this music do to us? It doesn't do any good, you understand? Definitely. And the kind of videos they show, it gets through the eyes right into our neshama. It doesn't do any good to us. It doesn't make you rich, it doesn't make you wealthy, it doesn't make you healthy, it doesn't do any good, you understand? The only thing why we do it is because like we want to get our mind off something, you know, we want to entertain ourselves, you know, we want to unwind, and sometimes we waste too much time on it.
It actually gets them rich because the
exactly, because you pay for it. Okay, it's
no,
7 o'clock.
YouTube,
Wow.
if you
So part of this course also is that we're gonna discover jobs which don't require a college degree. I discovered this document. I can share with you after the class. It's a list of prevailing wage jobs. It's basically jobs that if you work for a private company, but it does a project for government, for New York City.
union.
Not just unions, but if they're building something for New York City, all these jobs, they cannot pay you less than a certain amount. Some of them like elevator service, 49.14 an hour, plus benefits. I'm just giving you some examples. The whole list here, and it's not all inclusive list, by the way. There are other jobs that are not listed here.
You can find that online?
Yes, this you can find online. We should, one of you, you know what, just pass around this paper, write down your name, your phone number, and your email. We're gonna create a WhatsApp group. I can share this document in this group and other stuff that, you know, that we learn.
I recently got an offer Saturday, he was like, laying out conduit pipes in the tunnels.
Yes.
No. The salary was $75 an hour, which was absolutely ridiculous.
You see, I'm not making this up. You know, you can get a job $75 an hour. You know.
It's because these government organizations, they
Are
create
some of these jobs
contracts.
part-time?
What?
Can some of these jobs be part-time?
They are part-time, it's 12 hours just on Saturdays.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
But the idea is that these government organizations, they'll sell contracts and other companies will bid on them, and
I'm
it
sorry,
doesn't
sir.
matter. It could be absolutely any government facility.
You know what I'm saying, with ATA workers, they get paid a lot of money. If you work,
We have an MTA worker here.
you're an MTA worker?
He's
What's
gonna
up,
tell
MTA
you.
worker?
He's gonna tell you all about it.
I'll
He's gonna tell you about it. Next,
Play next week.
next session, guys. Make sure to come. We're gonna cover more of this stuff, but also Adi is gonna tell you about his career as an MTA worker, and also you can skim through this list. It's amazing. Like a mason, you know, cement mason, $42 an hour. It's unbelievable, you know. So it doesn't require a college degree. It does require certain trainings and certain exams. Maybe you need to pass, but Adi could tell you everything about it. Okay, how do we know from Torah that you should write your goals down? We just wrote down our goals. You go? How do we know from what do we see from Torah that you should write down your goals? You know what? And that's page 1 of the Torah. It says, "Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz." In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And if you look at the Midrash, Bereshit Rabbah, one of the first Midrashim in the beginning of the Torah, says the Torah is saying, I have the English translation for you. I was the artisan's tool of Hashem. In the way of the world, meaning this is how the world works. The Midrash is not just telling us funny stories. It always has a message. This Midrash has a message. This is the way of the world. A king of flesh of blood who builds a castle does not do so from his own knowledge, but rather from the knowledge of an architect. And the architect doesn't build that from his own knowledge, but rather he has scrolls and books in order to know how to make rooms and doorways. And guys, I work in the real estate development company. I know for myself. Because I see our engineers and project managers all the time. They're looking through schematic designs, they're looking through the floor plans. You don't just build a building out of, like when you have a nice idea. You have to write everything down to the detail, to the minute detail, and these details get analyzed, and then you rework the plans until you think at least you get it perfect, and then you start the building. And then, you understand? This is what God says. He said, He looked at the Torah. So too, Hashem gazed in the Torah, and He created the world. Why you think Hashem needs to look anywhere to create the world? Or He cannot memorize anything? We're talking about infinite intelligence, the Ein Sof. Somebody who has no end or beginning, Shalom. He can do whatever He wants. He doesn't even need to speak, but He spoke, He created with speech. But how He created, the Midrash is telling. He looked in the Torah, and He created the world. He looked in the Torah, He created the world. What is it coming to teach us? Hashem created the world. He said, this is the way of the world. This is how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to have a plan. And so we have to write down what we want, where we see ourselves 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now. What kind of family we want to have, what kind of career we want to have, what kind of people we want to be physically. And you understand? This is the Torah is telling us that we have to have a plan, and we have to look at this plan and create our lives. Now, does Torah care if we're rich or broke? I know Torah cares about that we keep Shabbat. I know Torah cares about that we keep kashrut. I know Torah cares about us learning every morning and night and putting on tefillin. But does God care if we are rich, if we're broke, if we're married, or obviously married? Yes, yeah.
I mean, the Torah doesn't care because if you help God, and then you help yourself by doing all the mitzvot and everything, and keep Shabbat.
Yeah.
God will actually help you. If you're poor,
He will help me and He'll make me work.
That's why they made kollel. You know kollel.
Yes.
Because if you learn in Torah, or the people that learn Torah all day, every day, they get paid for it.
Okay.
So they won't become poor.
Okay.
Like,
so does God want us to be rich?
He doesn't want it. He doesn't care if you're rich. If you're rich, He just wants you to put
Okay.
that money in the right way.
Okay, I'm happy
build
you
your
said
shul.
it because this is not the case, and I used to think the same way you did.
Isn't there a prayer to
Huh?
get money?
Yes, there's plenty of players to get money, and we ask for parnasa every day. But this is let's see what the halakha is. You know, you could debate the ideas from the morning until the end. Let's get into the text. You know, what is the we have Rambam? My man is this. He took all the Torah of the Talmud, he summarized it, and he made it very very clear in Mishnah Torah. You want to add a few more points? You have something in mind?
No.
Okay. Okay. This is for the. Okay, got you. Thank you very much. Derech Baledia. I wish somebody taught me this when I was 10, 20 years ago. I wish. Guys, this is I learned in yeshiva many years. I never came across this until maybe a few years ago. It says Dale Baledia. People who are smart and knowledge. This is what they do. Shikba lo adam melacha mefarneset oto tila. First, you have to find a source of income. Find a job that will sustain you and will keep you keep the money coming in. V'harka ikne beit dira, and then you buy yourself a house. Yeah, you buy yourself an apartment, whatever it is. Listen, thank you very much. Sheima, and he quotes the psukim in Torah. He says he proves his point, and then he keeps further. He says avala tipshin, the fool, the people, stupid people. What did they do? No, I was one of the stupid people. And it says avala tipshim, matchilin lisaisha. First they get married. This is what I did. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna make a side point. Not God forbid, I have any regrets who I married and when I married her, and I think I did the right thing. But if somebody told me this earlier, I would have lived my life differently.
I'm laughing something about my brother.
Okay, so he actually had a job when he got married. So now, it says, "Mei ha'ish asher," he says, the avala tipshin, stupid people, matchilim lisa isha, first they get married, ואחר כך אם תמצאו ידו יקנה בית, and then if they have enough money they will arrange sort of a place to live, ואחר כך בסוף ימיו יחזר לבקש אומנות או יפרנס מן הצדקה, and then he starts looking for a source of income, and if he doesn't find anything he's going to live off charity or off food stamps or off government subsidies, whatever it is, which is also a form of charity. You understand? So does God want us to do well? Absolutely yes. It's for our own sake, because if we do well, we don't need to depend on charity. We have a happy life. We have a place where we can bring our wife and says, this is now, I'm sharing my apartment with you. You have where to live. You don't have to worry about not having bread tomorrow. You don't have to worry about us going from door to door and asking for subsidies or applying for food stamps. You don't have to worry about it, because what? I already have a job and I already have an apartment, and come, you live with me. You're gonna be my wife. Wow, this is a good plan, no? Don't we all want to? Is there anybody who doesn't want to build a family? Anybody want? Yeah.
I want to build a family.
You want to build? So do I, right? And Baruch Hashem already sort of did. But we all want good for ourselves, right? We want to get married. We want to have a wife and children. We want to have an apartment to live in, right? This is like normal things. These are not. It's not something like you need to be a tycoon, but there has to be a plan. Before when you're out of high school, you have to understand sort of at least the direction. You have to have a good solid job and then get a place in an apartment. I'll tell you a story about the guy I know. We're sort of the same age. We have kids that go same age kids. Whereas at some point they were in the same grade. And he tells me about his career path. And he says when he got out of college, he started working in a finance job. He kept living with his parents, which a lot of people don't do. He says the first, even before they got their first paycheck, they signed a job contract. It's like, I'm out of my parents' house, that's it. Now I can do like crazy birthday parties. Now I can have my own space, nobody I have to knock on the bathroom. It's like, hey, when you're done, like I have finally freedom. But this is a short-term thinking. This is not good thinking. Why? Because look at this guy. I'll tell you his story. He says, I got my first job. I kept living with my parents. Why? Because I have a goal. I want to save up for a down payment. And he kept his expenses at the lowest he can possibly keep. Pay off maybe the student loan. Sometimes once in a while he go out with his friends, but not like every Saturday night. He keeps. Why? Because he has a goal. right? Because somebody has a goal. He's not just gonna waste his money. He has a goal. He wants to put down money for down payment. Then he also wants to get married. This is his goal. He wants to start a family. That's it. He's in the age. He has a goal. And now he met this girl. They want to get married. Right before they get married, Baruch Hashem, he already have enough money for down payment. He buys an apartment. They get married. He brings his wife to his apartment. Isn't that amazing? I wish somebody told me this 20 years ago. You understand, guys? I'm telling you all these things so you don't repeat the same mistakes. So don't waste money on clothing. Don't waste money on parties. Don't waste money on things on movies, on music that it's here today. And don't waste time, guys. We cannot afford this. Life is very, very short, and we cannot do stupid things. We have to live in a smart way, because Hashem, if we do stupid things, He's gonna give us life accordingly. It's not because He's bad. It's because we have to take charge of our life. We have to take responsibility. Yes.
You're saying I can't watch movies? Go to the movies, the theater?
First of all, halachically, I don't think so.
Because I seem
But
to...
that's a different question. Right now, let's say put halacha on the side for now. Is it the smart thing to do? I don't think so. It's a waste of time. Let's say you imagine every time movie lasts like 2 to 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you studied for 2 hours every time instead of watching a movie.
You could do both.
Don't you think? Yes, you're right. So once in a while you need to unwind. Okay, you understand. But in general, people in America spend about 3 hours a day, at average, in front of television. I haven't seen a movie maybe in a year and a half.
I've seen two.
Not because I don't want to. Trust me, I enjoyed it. When I watched movies, I enjoyed it very much. But if you really, really break it down, it's a waste of time. Yes.
I've seen two Hasidics in the movie theater.
Okay, listen.
Watching Fast and
And
Furious.
if you go to a strip club, God forbid, you might find some Hasidic there. So it doesn't show that it's the right thing to do. You understand? We're not talking right now what people do. People do a lot of stupid things. We all do sometimes wrong decisions. But right now we're trying to understand how to do the best possible decisions. Okay, you have any questions so far, guys?
I was gonna add, not to take your words to an extreme. When you say don't waste money on clothing, doesn't mean you don't have to buy clothing.
Right. Yeah.
Also, positive reinforcement is good from time to time, but
Absolutely.
in moderation.
Absolutely. But I when I made money, I had this when I was in yeshiva, I had these jobs as a waitering. Every Shabbat I did Hasidic, and during weeknights, most of my money I spent on clothing. And then I don't know what to do with all these clothes, and then I gave away over time. I was like, why? I imagine this. I go to this party, I'm gonna put on this jacket, I put a little hair gel, and as I go to this party, I cannot wear the same pants, and I have this need to fancy belt, and this and that. And understand? When we're young, sometimes we think differently. Of course, what Adi is saying, it's a good to know that you need clothing. It's normal to have, especially for Shabbat and this and that. Sometimes you need to go out. Also, you need to have a nice set of clothing, but not to waste money. We have to keep things reasonable. Yes, you have questions, comments? This is good stuff, no? Is that good stuff? Well, it's unbelievable. This is so powerful. Okay, you know what? Another item that Napoleon Hill talks about it. He calls he calls this principle. You need to go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay. How's it? It's good.
Yeah, it's good. What time is it usually on?
6 o'clock.
What time is it on?
7:30.
Oh, 7:30.
7:30?
Yeah. What time is it?
7:12.
Same time?
Yes.
Here?
15 minutes.
What?
Next week here? Same
Yes.
time?
Yes.
Cool. See you next week. Thank you.
Okay. He talks about this is one of the last items for tonight. He talks about this principle. It's called the mastermind. What he did, he studied very closely rich people of his time, which one of them was Henry Ford. Was the richest person in the world
He
at
created
that
the
time.
assembly line.
Yes, he invented the assembly line. He sold a lot of cars, and he was one of the most powerful people in the world, one of the richest people in the world. And Napoleon Hill interviewed him many times and studied him, and also other people, wealthy people at his time. And there was another wealthy person that he had a very close relationship with. His name was Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie, not to be mixed up with Dale Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie, he organized the United Steel Corporation, which was for that time it was the biggest producer of steel. He put other people pretty much out of business, and he was really very rich. And he asked him, what's your secret? How do you become rich? How do you become successful? And he says, I'll tell you. The most important item he says, I don't have all the talents and all the tools to make all this money, but what's my biggest item is to organize everybody together in a harmonious and organized way to achieve a certain goal. He calls this the mastermind. He says, you have one person comes in contact with another person, actually they have more ideas together. He says there's like an outside energy that comes into this relationship if they have a good mutual respect, love, understanding, they like each other. When two people get together and there's a chemistry between them, they could do great things. Right? It could not only equal 3, it could equal 200, you know? Why? Because when we get together and there's a chemistry between us and we certain ideas I cannot come up by myself. Certain ideas Adi cannot come up by himself. But when we get together, we do great things together. Why? If we like each other, we have a chemistry. This is, by the way, this project is basically the perfect example of the mastermind, the principle that he describes here. Where do we see this principle in the Torah? That's the question. When you have 2 or more people working together, and they bring in like an energy which is not there otherwise.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
Gets the job done.
Yeah, it gets the job done. Where do we see this in the Torah? Is this a true principle or not?
Yeah. Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike.
Think alike? Oh, okay. So where is it in the Torah? Let's say it's true, but where is it in...
Like rabbis, they all think alike.
It's very far from truth. You see almost every page of Gemara you have rabbis arguing with each other. So they don't think alike at all. Usually they think in the opposite. Yeah, machlokes. So the most very simple example, you see this example everywhere in the chavruta. You know chavruta? Well, you sit down and you learn one-on-one. This is the typical way to learn Talmud. You study, you scream at each other, you argue, you go back and forth, you're trying to understand the subject matter. Marriage is a very good example. You know, two people get together and then they have kids. You know, what better example could that be?
Something they can't do without each other.
Yeah, exactly. Shidduch. But we see these things in the Torah. I'll give you a very, very good example. It says in one of the first chapters in the Torah, it's talking about Migdal Bavel. You know what's Migdal Bavel? Babylonian tower. Babylonska bashta. Who are the people who built it and why did they build it and how does it happen? It's like one of the first skyscraper. They wanted to get to the sky and they wanted to, according to some mefarshim, according to some commentators, they wanted to fight God. But what was unique about it is that when the pasuk says the following, "V'hi kol haaretz safa echad," everybody spoke the same language, udvarim achadim, and they had united things. They had one thing in mind, and Rashi clarifies this: "Ba'u beitza achat." They all came with the same plan and with the same goal. Is it not amazing? Is it because you cannot build anything unless you have people working together? Do you think you can invent an iPad or build a company like Apple or like a company like Microsoft or like any restaurant, anything from small business to big business? There's no way you can make it work unless you have different kinds of people working together. Let's take a very simple example: the restaurant, right? You need the chef, you need the waitress, you need the cashier, you need the people who will order things and will check the supplies.
Manager, delivery man.
Exactly, you need a whole team of people to work together to deliver a product and deliver a service. And so it doesn't work any other way. And there has to be somebody who put them all together, who interviewed them, and he makes it work. Because if they hate each other, at some point, if there's no harmony, the business is gonna fail. And the same thing applies to big corporations. You know, I just give you a very simple example, but to have a corporation like Google to run, or like Ford Motors, you know, you need whole army of people working towards the same goal in a harmony, and then they create something big. I'll give you a very, very good example from the Torah. So when the Jewish people were about to receive the Torah, it's talking about like this: "V'amru, v'yisu mirafidim," they left Rafidim. "V'yomu midbar Sinai v'yachan sham Israel neged ha'ar." When they left Rafidim, there were many people walking together, but when they got to Har Sinai, it says "V'yachan sham Israel neged ha'ar." The Jewish people encamped in a singular. It says, "Ani ushli on stayal." What does it mean? He, right? He says, and the Rashi comes to come and ki ish echad belev echad. They have one heart, like a one person. The whole nation, few million people, united their minds in a harmonious way. And what did they get? They get the Torah. Couldn't that be the biggest example of when you have the mastermind? You know, when you have different people, what he calls a mastermind. Different people working together, and they can bring down the Shekhinah. They can create a vessel for a Kli to receive the Shefa, to receive the abundance, to receive all kinds of blessings. This is the example of a mastermind, guys. The only way we could have received the Torah, and we had in a harmonious way, we had the harmony between all of us, and then we can bring down the Torah. That's the only way God sort of bring down His influence into this world. And then, God forbid, we see the example of other way around. When the students of Rabbi Akiva didn't give respect to each other, there was no harmony between them, they brought down death. This is how it works. So, to achieve huge success, we're talking about like big scale, or even small scale, we need to learn with other people and connect, find the people that we click with, and work with them to build partnerships, to build relationship. And I hope this group, that all the people that came today, will all think alike, because otherwise why would we come, right? Because we all have a certain things that we pursue. And I hope this is a mastermind here now, because when we click together, there's a certain energy, and if we sort of on the same, right? If we in the same way, we like each other, we respect each other, there's something that we can bring down the Shekhinah. You know, we can bring down the energy which is not here otherwise. This is another example from the Torah. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Let's just review what we learned today. What did you learn today? Yes, what did we learn today? Yes.
Set goals.
Yes.
And achieve those. And how can we achieve those goals?
Very good.
And why do we have those goals?
Good. What else? What did you learn today? Did you learn anything today? Yeah. Tell me, what did you learn today?
It's important to know your goals.
Good.
Because they can help you be determined.
Very good. What else? What else we learned today?
There's a lot of jobs that pay a lot of money for any college degree.
Very good. That's a good point. What else? Daniel, what did we learn today?
First, you need to set all your goals. Yeah, that's very important.
Very good. Yes. What
First,
else?
you need to think about what am I doing with my life, what I should be doing with my life, and how would I end my life.
Okay. That's actually. There is an exercise like this. You have to imagine yourself at your funeral and ask what people were talking about me, you know. And but basically, just to summarize everything starts with a desire. Then it leads to a goal, right? You want certain things, and the goal leads to a plan, and the plan leads to an action. This is the plan, guys, right? We went all the way from here when you did the brainstorming, and then we said how long time it will take, and then the planning you'll do hopefully tonight. I hope you don't push it away for too far, and then the action you have to start taking right away. We'll talk about the action part later. Okay, I want to end off with an exercise and saying from Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon. He says like this: Al zdeh ish hatzel avarti, v'al kerem adam hasar lev. He says, one time I was passing by a garden or vineyard of a lazy person. Okay, somebody who is lazy. V'hineh ala kulo kimshonim kasuf anav charulim. And this vineyard and this garden had, what is it called? Weeds, right? I think that's the word in English, when they all have bad plants.
Yeah.
Weeds, and his v'geder avanav neherasa, and his stone fence is broken. He says, this lazy guy, his field is completely disgusting. His fence is broken. Everything is. V'chazeh anochi ashit lev libi, and I looked at it and I took it to my heart. I learned my lesson. What's the lesson? Me'at shinot, me'at numot, little bit to sleep, little bit to dream. Me'at hibuk yadam, little bit you sort of cuddle in the bed. Uba min halech reshecha umechsorecha kish magen. And then it comes the poverty. You know the poverty comes? We sometimes feel like, oh God, why did you punish me? So most of the time we punish ourselves. We waste our time. We're being lazy. We're not doing anything productive. And then he says, God, why you don't give me money? well, I gave you all the resources, I gave you all the time, I gave you all the connections. Go out there and earn your living. Why are you sitting at home and watching TV? You know, get up from your couch. And this is exactly Shlomo HaMelech said 3,000 years ago, almost 2,000 years ago, and he says, you know, don't be lazy. This is basically to summarize. Okay, now we're gonna do last exercise for tonight, and we're gonna go home or wherever you wanna go. And this is basically we're gonna write ourselves a letter. Where do I see myself 10 years from now? I'm gonna give you this paper. You're gonna write where you see yourself from now, spiritually 10 years from now, because hopefully you'll be in a much better position financially, physically, B'ezrat Hashem, family-wise, community-wise, any hobbies that you have. And I hope 10 years from now you have to draw yourself a picture what kind of person you want to be 10 years from now. That is it. Yeah. And we're gonna put it in the envelopes. You're gonna write your address down. You're gonna seal the envelope. I'm not gonna read it, so this is for you, not for me. And I'm gonna send it to you in the next few weeks. At some point, it's gonna come to you, and you know, just to refresh your mind. So write down where do I see myself 10 years from now, and that's we're gonna call it a day.